You're working.
We're back here on Hot Stove, presented by the General Insurance. Adnan Burke alongside Harold Reynolds, Sierra Santos, Keith Costas, the rest of the crew with us as always. We bring in our friend Anthony Castro-Vince in 1 second.
I love history. Did your wife keep her maiden name?
Man, I tried to call you. Did you change your number?
What you wearing? You smell good. Thank you. Muchos thank you.
Thank you.
I'm convinced he changed his number because we used to talk about The Bachelor all the time, and I have not heard a word.
Well, Harold, my wife stopped watching, and so I no longer had an excuse to watch. That's the problem there.
That's a fact.
So I don't
That's
even
a
know.
fact.
I don't even know if it's on right now. I don't know what's going on in Bachelor World. I've totally lost touch with the important things in life.
I don't watch it either, but my buddy Jesse Palmer, I think, is now the host.
Yeah, he's been hosting it.
Jesse's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Speaking of a guy who looks like $1 million. Jesse and Anthony Castro-Vince and Carlos Correa. Why not? He's living the life
And
right
Buck
now.
Showalter. Don't forget Buck Showalter.
The sexiest manager alive. I don't say sexiest man alive, which is a hell of a compliment, but definitely a good-looking guy. Carlos Correa. I've never seen this, Anthony. We've covered baseball our whole lives. I've never seen this kind of situation. He goes to one team, no, physical, no good. Second team, physical, no good. Then back to Twins. He still made $200 million.
I only got 200.
Yeah, he only got 200. But I kind of think a part of him's thinking, man, I lost 130 million. How do you look at this and analyze this now that we've had a second to kind of take it all in?
Yeah, I always do this list of biggest surprises of the hot stove every winter, and he's the top 3 spots this year because there's 3 surprises rolled into one. You had the Giants deal breaking down. You had the middle of the night news that he's going to the Mets. Subsequently, of course, the Mets contract begins to break down. We learned that on Christmas Eve. And lo and behold, he ends up back where he started with the Minnesota Twins. Back in number 4 for the Twins. He should be wearing number 3 for the 3 teams that he quote-unquote played for this winter. But yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's more surprised about how this unfolded than Carlos Correa himself. He chased the limelight. He wanted the limelight of a big market. He ends up back with the limestone there in Minnesota. And they know him. They know what he brings to the equation, both on the field and off. This guy's a natural-born leader and really took a vested interest in this organization in the short time. He was only guaranteed to be there for 1 year in 2022, but I think they were really impressed with his leadership and his knowledge of their system, et cetera. So once everything did break down with those bigger markets, it was on the Twins to step up and get this deal done. It's fascinating, guys, because you think a year ago, or a little more than a year ago, he turned down 5 years and 160 from the Houston Astros, and we all kind of laughed at that offer, like the Astros had lowballed him. But he ends up 6 and 200 now on this deal, plus what he made last year. So he bettered that deal, but he didn't, blow it out of the water like we thought he would. Obviously, the steel plate, played a big role in that.
Yeah, no, it had a major impact, and you know what? It's I never liked him going to the Mets to play third. I'm happy Carlos is playing shortstop. He's one of the true shortstops that we're going to see. We've got so many good players kind of on that Hall of Fame track. I want to see where he ends up as a shortstop, not moving to third base. So we'll see how this whole thing unfolds. Last thing I'll add here with that, Anthony, until we move on to the next topic is, we always talk about his leadership. I think the biggest thing he brings is work ethic. And when you have a young organization and guys are coming through, you need to see guys that work. How do I work? How does he go about his business? And then that's how you really impact an organization. So I think that's why the Twins are even more so in on it. Just throwing all that out there, just some food for thought. All right, what's your second big story of a surprise of the hot stove season?
It's got to be the biggest guy in the room, and Aaron Judge here, right? Come on.
Yeah, so an unsurprising ending to the Aaron Judge saga, brief as it was in free agency. I think most of us expected him to go back to the Yankees, and he goes back to the Yankees.
Hey, listen, I'll give H credit because he was on the record saying he's leaving.
I thought he was out, but,
Well, don't give him credit because he was wrong. But for 5 minutes, you were right, H. For about 5 minutes.
Thank you.
When our pal John Heyman sent out the tweet heard round the winter meetings and elsewhere that Aaron Judge appeared headed to the Giants. And, the winter meetings are funny for a lot of reasons, but one thing that's funny about them is just you can feel kind of a buzz in the air sometimes. And everyone's just looking at their phones. Like, it's not anything happening like in plain sight. It's just there's a palpable energy in that lobby, in that building. and it's all just from people looking at Twitter. And that's, of course, what happened with that tweet that Arson Judge was headed to the Giants, and that set off this.
I would rather have my wrong than Heyman's wrong.
Well, John Heyman's an excellent reporter. And by the way, we talked about Carlos Correa. John Heyman was all over the Carlos Correa saga. So great respect for John.
Don't try to clean it up, Anthony.
We love John the way he loves Arby's, But no, that one tweet, I mean, that had Giants executives scrambling to figure out what was going on. We're signing Judge, apparently. That had Yankees executives, people with the Yankees especially scrambling that they were about to lose. Yeah. And you had everyone on Twitter, both reacting to the news and the typo itself, and making arson puns. So a lot was going on there, and that was just in 5 minutes. I mean, it all happened in 5 minutes before the tweet was deleted, and we all moved on with our lives.
Oops.
Arson Judge was definitely my favorite part of that entire saga. Sometimes there's the signs that just surprise you. Now, I know A.J. Preller is going to be aggressive, and I love the fact he'll take chances. But I was not expecting 11 for 280 for Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, wow.
I wasn't expecting anything, in free agency of that magnitude at this point for the Padres, because this is the franchise. I'm old enough to remember when they couldn't afford Chase Headley. He signed for 4 years and $52 million at the Yankees. I think the big criticism when they signed Manny Machado was, okay, you're going over $100 million for the first time. You got this marquee player, but what are you going to do to surround him? Well, we were wrong. They did a lot to surround Manny Machado. They've done a lot. You see there the magnitude of the moves they've made. Look at it from percentage basis. From 2019 to 2021, the next full season, full payroll, an 80% rise in payroll. Another 16% rise from 21% rise from 2021 to 2022. And it'll be looking like about an 18% rise in payroll again here this year. So it's a lot of fun. It's also how sustainable we shall see. I think the Padres are taking on some serious World Series or bust kind of vibes. You hate to do that because the game is so dynamic, and sometimes your best team on paper is not your best team in reality. But just practically, Machado can opt out a year from now. And it looks like by the looks of next year's market for position players, he probably should opt out. Snell and Darvish are free agents. Soto will be just a year away from free agency a year from now. So it takes on a much different look on that roster a year from now than it does today. So they got to get it done. They had a great show of faith in that club to do what they did in signing Bogaerts to the deal they did. And he's now a cornerstone for them. Should Machado depart, should other moves be made with that roster. But yeah, I don't think anybody really penciled them as the favorites to land one of those marquee shortstops.
All that said, I still think the most interesting player on that team and move is Tatis. How will he bounce back? Where will they play him? All those things are going to tell us what happens to the Padres in 2023, because he's so dynamic. But will he come back and be that player, and where will he play? That, to me, is the key.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got, Adam?
We were going to ask about DeGrom. I think we're pretty much good. I mean, real quick, Anthony, that's going to be the biggest eyebrow raise of the offseason. 5 years for DeGrom. I know he's great, but that is an all-in move. They go big in Texas, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And just to put the DeGrom deal in perspective, over the next 5 years, he'll make the same amount of money as Mike Trout. And that he's doing that in his age 35 to 39 seasons. Trout's doing it in his age 31 to 35 seasons. So big show of faith there. And we had surprises right here in the show, by the way. We learned on Hot Stove that Lauren Shahadi used to mix the ranch dressing at a Creole restaurant in college. That's pretty big. And we learned that Matt Vasgersian, chars his steaks, burns them to a crisp, and takes all the flavor out of them, which I would not have guessed from a man of a great esteem like Matt Vasgersian. So big revelations here on the stove.
Yeah, Matty V pretty refined. To go well done on a steak, that's bad for business. You got to go medium.
Yeah.
I still think Lauren, the Creole restaurant, is the best one yet. I love that.
Great revelation. Anthony, good stuff, man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
That's Anthony Castrovince. Always love reading his stuff and getting his.
Are you getting used to Guardians yet?
It took a little while. It's one of those that you didn't even try.
Anthony's in Cleveland. It made me think of that.
That's